streets in unmarked vehicles and taking them to undisclosed locations and holding them without their due process, that is exactly what authoritarian and fascist and, communist regimes around the world have done to intimidate their people. So we're seeing it right here. And so it boggles my mind that the same people that in one breath will call me a communist because I'm a Democrat and look and say, well, Trump is the law and order president and we're cool with that because he's getting rid of Antifa, which I'm not even entirely convinced is like a thing. So
awesome.
Anyway.
Well, that definitely makes it a big problem for all of us, and this is why we need everyone out there in America who is able to watch and join us right now to be able to be an ambassador of No Dem Left Behind, so that Sydney, a fighter, a mom, an advocate, can continue fighting for our country where she lives in the hot spot of COVID right now in in Florida. I'm in Maryland, but it can return. It's going to get worse, just like the president now believes it's going to happen. So the links are right there, scrolling on the bottom of your page. Join us, share it. We'll be right back and tell you why we are fighting for you in this country with my story. So we'll be right back.
First, he came after our immigrants. He came after our national origin. He came after our color. He came after our LGBT community. And then he came after me. And that's where the mistake happened. Don't Ask, Don't Tell ended without including transgendered soldiers. Yep, the Obama administration failed transgender soldiers. It didn't include me until later on. That's when I decided that I needed to come home to Virginia. But I couldn't come home. There was no equality at home. I came home to Maryland and DC, where there was equality. That wasn't true either. I got kicked out. I had to fight. I got on NBC News, fought against that administration, got back in, and then it was like deja vu. July 26th, first thing in the morning, Donald J. Trump said, "We're doing you a great favor. We're kicking you out. We deserve to serve." The men and women deserve diversity in this armed forces.
Let's do that, okay?
First.
Well, hello and welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Sydney and I am Mia, and we are, candidates of the coalition called No Dem Left Behind. We are flipping red districts to blue all across America. And I think Sydney has some news she just told me that says is exciting. What do you got?
Yeah, it is so exciting. Yeah, today was a big day to get back some news on endorsements. So I got two pretty good local endorsements. I was endorsed by the Lee County Young Dems. Just got that later this afternoon. So excited about that. My peers essentially too, fighting for young people and working families in our community. So I'm very grateful to the Lee Dems for their support. And earlier this morning, a local journalist who profiles a lot of political stuff in our area came out and formally endorsed me as well, the Paradise Progressive. And I'm very happy about that. He kind of went through the analysis of the race, and he really highlighted a couple of things that were very important to me, which is coalition building. So I built a coalition of candidates across the state of Florida earlier to fight for ballot access. And then I also actually built a coalition of Democrats, including my primary opponent, to fight for equity and coverage on the local media of Democrats in this very red district. And they gave us a debate after it. So I was really excited about that because they had only given the debate to the Republicans until we banded together and said hey,
you
Democrats
need it too.
Too. So But that's my news for today.
Awesome. Well, I have news as well. It's going to happen this Thursday at this same place, same channel. Join us. We got somebody super funny, been in the spotlight for quite a while. It's not Sarah McBride. It's not Sarah McConnor. It's not Sarah, whoever. It is Sarah Cooper. Comedian Sarah Cooper. She will be with all of us, all of our coalition candidates, this Thursday at 8 p.m. And I'll tell you this, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see where you can sign up, follow us, and get the updates. We're kind of sold out, so make sure that you come and watch us. We're going to be putting it on our Twitter, our Periscope, our Twitch, our YouTube, and Facebook. So make sure that you find our pages. Sydney, how do we get a hold of you?
Well, I'm going to be also sharing that as a watch party on my Facebook page at SWFL Mom 2020. I'm really looking forward to this event too. And here's the thing: if you may not necessarily even always recognize Sarah Cooper's name, but I promise you've probably shared one of her videos recently, because she makes those hilarious videos using Trump's own words, acting them out. So we're really looking forward to her. She's very funny.
I agree, because my treasurer works at Walter Reed, and I have to tell you, if you're going there to get a cognitive test, it's not a good thing at all. It's just not good. But I completely understand. And speaking of, things that are coming up, we do have our Vice President, Joe Biden. He's having an event here, and it's going to be online. It's going to be about the economy and everything else, but it's easier for you to go visit Joe Biden, and he has a distinct choice to make. It's been informed to us that we are going to be picking between 4 women of color, which is historically groundbreaking for all of America, and that we will have our first African American VP, which goes in line with, like our President Barack Obama. So here's that short list. I'm trying to, ease that minute in there. Your ears are probably bleeding with every word, but here it is. Senator Kamala Harris is on that short list. Representative Val Demings of Florida, you might know her. And Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is also on that list, along with a person that I admire, National Security Advisor Susan Rice.
Oh.
Yes. So if you need something done, you might want to talk to her. Same thing with Representative Karen Brass of California, are among the women that will be considered by President Joe Biden. Which means that the Simpsons will probably be wrong in picking Elizabeth Warren.
So what happened? So that's the official shortlist, you're saying? That was released by the campaign?
That's what I got from CNN. And I have to say, that's what they've previously reported on. So if it's like the third time they've said it, I think it's going to be quite an interesting pick, because he did say that he was going to pick a woman. We knew that back when he announced. So I'm excited about that as well.
I'm kind of interested that Stacey Abrams didn't make that list. I thought that she was on the short list.
I thought so too. I was rooting for her. We were like neck and neck with Kamala Harris in the polls every time I would see one in the Democratic convention debate for polls in the Facebook group. And I was like, yes, she is up there. She's like, 49, 50%. They're 2 great picks. It would make a big, huge, amazing change to have that voice in our White House. And then of course, like you got Senator Kamala Harris, who just shuts down every Republican on the House floor. It goes hand in hand that you got 2 powerful women, and I think we might actually see a toss-up between Harris and Susan Rice. And those are my 2 picks if you had to pick one.
That would be interesting. I don't know. I like Val Demings, what can I say? You know, she is a powerhouse. She did an amazing job during the impeachment hearing. She was very strong during that. And you know, it's Florida, you know, and there's a strategic pick around, you know, pick a Florida candidate for your vice president. They usually give you a bump, and frankly, that's what we're talking about here in the state of Florida: is how can we get and work those margins to make sure that we flip this state. Every seat that we have, all of our state legislature and our state senate, which have our Democrats running in every single one of them. These are all the strategies that the Democrats are using in the state of Florida to make sure that we can bring Florida home for Joe Biden. And honestly, having a pick like Val Demings may be something to help push over as well.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Of my next question is, honestly, are we actually going to win Florida? And I think if that's the pick, then we have it. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back before we get into our last two topics.
Trying to get rid of the Lee statue here.
Well, that's what we should be talking about, is the Lee statue, since we're back on the air, because today, you know, the National Defense Bill, $740 billion of it just got passed. In fact, we learned that my representative, Dr. No, actually said yes to something. So is he really going to get rid of Confederate statues? I mean, Robert Lee, what type of statue is that where you are?
Oh, yeah. So here I'm living in Lee County, which was named after Robert E. Lee. Basically as a big, like, you to the north, because this was actually the Union Fort. This is the southernmost Union fort in the country. We beat the Confederates up and down. It was an all-black battalion that was in Fort Myers here, actually. And they beat the Confederates, and then basically when the Civil War ended, the troops just kind of like picked up and went back north. But the people who had lived here remained, and they were really had some hard feelings about having their butts kicked so bad that they decided to, when they annexed this area, they called it General Lee County, even though Robert E. Lee had never been here.
Wow.
And so the storied history of it goes on from there. And there is a bust downtown Fort Myers of Robert E. Lee that was put there in 1964, right in the height of the Civil Rights era, right in the height of the local integration efforts of the schools. It was put there by the Daughters of the Confederacy, specifically to intimidate the Black community. And there it has sat since then. At the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement here, and we had protests and people were really just trying to have their voice be heard, the caretakers of the statue,
the Sisters group.
The caretakers are the Sons of the Confederate Veterans. They're like another nonprofit group that they got legal access to take the statue and protect it from the protesters.
They need to just put it in their backyard and call it a day, because, you know, those are the same type of people that you see, like their, you know, crane or their big flagpole in their backyard, and they're flying their Confederate flag, their Trump flag, and whatever else they want to flag. But the sad thing about this bill also is some of the other additional little orders and amendments that go into it. They have 18 months to rename these military bases. I mean, like, when we had, like, prior SecNav Ray Mavis, he was in charge of naming ships. You know, he got tired of naming them after presidents. He got tired of naming them after whatever. He decided to start naming some of them after our service members, you know, enlisted and officer, because we are the ones representing the future of our fleet and how we serve honorably. And that makes a big difference, because we put ourselves on the front line, we sacrifice our lives, and that's what we should be historically remembered for. You know, not the traitors who have fought against our country and deserve their heritage pride by flying their flag. Because in the same stroke of a pen, the DoD administration said that I can't have my military flag, my pride flag on a military base. I can have my 2 service flags on a military base, but I can't have equity and equality on a base. You know?
So I want to clarify that. So until just recently, you were not allowed to fly a pride flag, but you were allowed to fly a Confederate flag?
You were allowed to fly both, either a Confederate flag or a pride flag on a military installation. Instead, they decided to just get rid of anything that wasn't federally recognized, which is a service flag, like a state flag or a country flag. So they really have put a dampener into, you know, progressive movements all across the entire country, especially for those who live on base, and, you know, they'll have to be enforced or disciplined or something else to, you know, cause more hardship to our service members, ruin their morale and unit cohesion, because, you know, this flag, the pride flag, represents equality, diversity, you know, and you know, other parts of the LGBTQ plus community. It makes us who we are, and it's not, you know, we're not traitors to our country, but this administration is treating us like traitors to this, because we're fighting for that equity, that equality that we're looking to restore. You know, Representative John Lewis passed away. He spent his entire life fighting for civil rights. And here we are coming up on the Voting Rights Act, which is now 228 days now, and Mitch McConnell is suppressing that, suppressing our rights. And since President Trump took office, day one, he's been attacking everyone, regardless of their nation of origin, regardless of their sexual orientation or identity, and even has tried to go after our marriage altogether for the basis of religion, of their legal means to discriminate against us legally using religion. I find that completely unjustified. You know, because then you would end up going to your dentist or doctor and have to check and make sure that, you know, your religious beliefs align before you get service. That would be horrible, wouldn't it?
It sounds like a lot more work than necessary, and frankly, just not how America operates. You know, we live in diverse communities, and we have lived in diverse communities for a very long time, and, you know, different types of people, different types of businesses, and it used to just be you serve and you provide good customer service, and you're a good client when you go into a business, and you respect them as well. So yeah, it's very disheartening too when we think about how people have been discriminated against, and what it means when you have leadership or a lack of leadership from the federal level on down, demonstrating that this kind of discrimination and bias is okay, and let it permeate inside out.
Yeah, and it must stop, you know, and this is why we have to, when we get into office, you get elected, I get elected, any other Democrat that gets elected, and we flip that Senate to blue with President Joe Biden in there, we get the Equal Rights Act to the president's desk so that we have the ERA, the amendment, into our Constitution forever guaranteeing our civil rights per the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So, gosh, we've blown a little bit of our time now talking about fighting for what we believe in. Folks, we want you to join us. You know, Sydney, how do we get a hold of you? What's your website?
Well, you can see my website right there, cindy4swfl.com. And, you know, I'm a proud member of our No Dem Left Behind coalition. You know, we have such amazing candidates here, and we are all fighting to flip our districts. And I'm so happy to be a part of this team, this camaraderie that we have supporting one another. And we really hope that we can bring more people in to help support us as well.
I agree. I completely agree. I'm Mia Mason. I can be found at miadmason.us. And of course, super easy. Look at the bottom of your screen. It says follow us on social media at NoDem2020. And then NoDemLeftBehind.com is where you sign up. And of course, we're a grassroots organization. We want you to be able to pitch in $1, $5, $10. It makes a huge difference to everybody else. So click the donate link. Make that donation tonight. It will help us all. And with that, don't forget what's happening this Thursday, Sydney.
Sarah Cooper, 8 p.m., right? Eastern time. Sarah Cooper, it's going to be funny. It's going to be lively. You're going to see all of our personalities here from the No Dem Left Behind Coalition, and we're going to act together. You know, we're going to have Sarah Cooper as well as Richard Ojeda, our national spokesperson, there to kind of give some life and some energy to us and to our followers. It's a thank you back to everybody, but it's also a way to help show the kind of support that we have and that we're going to need to continue to flip these districts.
Absolutely. And with that, to everyone out there, thank you for your support and have a good night.